Hi, ladies. I am literally back. Okay, so let's just dive straight into this. How do you heal the wounded feminine or the feminine wound? It's really about emotional stability. Now, obviously, like I said, this is my opinion. This is what I have practiced and what I do practice because I really believe that healing is a lifelong journey. It's not something that you do one time and it's done. It's not a band aid, it's a lifelong journey. So we're always going to be healing from some degree of trauma or whatever, right? So for me, it's really about being emotionally stable. And this is so important to me because emotions are so powerful. And we're actually able to do so much with our emotions, with our feminine emotions. We're able to manifest, we're able to create, we're able to change how we see ourselves and subsequently change our circumstances and change how people see us. You know, emotions are so powerful. And when you really get to understand the power behind your emotions, you will not only appreciate them more, but you'll definitely be more careful about where you invest your emotions. Okay. So, really get emotionally stable. Stabilize your nervous system, stabilize your thoughts, stabilize your mind, stabilize yourself. That's where your healing is going to come from. That's where your freedom is going to come from. That's where your growth is going to come from. It's going to come from your stabilized emotions, your stabilized nervous system. So get stable. My number one go-to is therapy. And I'm so glad to live in a time where therapy is not taboo anymore. Many people are becoming more open and transparent about their journeys with, their emotional and mental well-being. And it's not taboo because we all have trauma, to some degree. And therapy is just a really great place to start to really kind of get into those traumatic events within a safe space with somebody who's trained to help you and guide you through the heavy emotions, right? So therapy is number one on my list. And close to therapy is also coaching, life coaching, seeing somebody who is going to be able to get you from point A to point B. Because sometimes, especially when you are inside of a situation, you're unable to see a bigger picture. So, being able to consult somebody who sees a bigger picture and knows more or less how you can reach your end goal and is there to guide you, that's invaluable. And if you have a combination of these two, girl, your life can change so much. Your life can improve so much. Like, so much. Okay. So, these are also the more expensive um, methods. Therapy is not free, it's not cheap. Well, actually, I think there are certain places where you can get it free, I think. But if you're paying for it, it's not cheap. Coaching is not cheap. So you're really investing in yourself when you go this route. But like I said, your life will definitely, guaranteed, will change because you are working with people that have the actual roadmap for where you want to go. It's like the difference between trying to figure out how to get to your destination and using a GPS. You know, it's it's not brain uh, surgery, you know. So definitely invest in that if you can, ladies. Definitely invest the time and the resources. Next, to get emotionally stable, you need to start building your self esteem. A lot of wounded feminine women or women that lead with their wounds, or the feminine that leads with her wound, a lot are coming from a place of extremely low self-esteem, and sadly cannot see it as clearly as other people can. So for example, if you are with somebody that does not treat you the way that you want to be treated, but you force yourself to stay there for whatever reason, and you don't try and improve your circumstances or improve yourself, but instead you choose to be desperate and be, resentful and just have all of these negative emotions instead of finding a way to get out of that situation. I know it's not always as easy as packing a bag and leaving, but sometimes you can do one thing every day that brings you closer to that goal of being able to leave if that's what you ultimately have to do, right? But when you are so self degrading that you force yourself to stay in a situation that is beneath you, quite frankly, and you take it a step further, you now go and show perfect strangers who don't know your life just how much of a mess your life is. You have no self esteem. There are a lot of ladies who are dealing with men that are, okay, so this is in the context of like dating or relationships. There are a lot of ladies who are dealing with men who are giving them or offering them less than what they feel that they deserve. A lot. Some women, though, have at least a level of pride enough to say, okay, I'm not proud of the fact that I'm staying with this situation. So I'm not even going to advertise it out there. She's also wounded because if she's staying and if she's not trying to get better or improve herself, she's also coming from her wound. But there's at least a level of self-esteem where it's like, I'm not going to let everybody and their mama in on just how bad things are or just how horrible I feel about my life. I don't need to know how sad you are. I don't. So if you're going around sharing, bearing your soul to perfect strangers, you may see it as, um, you know, oh, I'm letting people know, da 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 da. And like I discussed in the previous video, you're violating people's boundaries while you're crying victim. But over and above that, you're actually showing people how sad you are. And sometimes that's not what you want to lead with. That's not really the first impression you want to make on people. Whether it's people you care about or not is not the point. You don't want to make a first impression of, oh my gosh, shame. At least I don't. Build some self-esteem. Respect yourself a little bit. People don't have to respect you, but you should respect you. You should absolutely respect you. And you should demand a certain level of self respect from yourself. And ask yourself, What does self-respect look like for me in this situation? And do it. Build self-esteem. This is YouTube. Google different things that you can do to uh, this is YouTube, Google. Search what how can I build my self-esteem? There's loads of content, tons of videos with tons of views, which tells you your situation is not unique. I have watched tons of videos. I continue to watch tons of content about building self esteem, loving myself better, like all of these things, because I understand that's my responsibility. And I understand that I'm not necessarily born with the knowledge of how to handle certain things. But guess what? We live in a time where you can get information like this, information that people had to, back in the day, study for years, read mountains of books to get it. You can open a video, a 30-minute video, take a couple of notes, and already have the condensed knowledge of how to improve your life and your circumstances. Ladies, when I share with you tips on how to improve yourself, it's not, oh, this sounds nice, whatever. I have spent years improving myself. A lot of people will also make certain judgments of, oh, she put on makeup and whatever, whatever, and now, leveled up. No, like I have spent years getting to know myself psychologically, emotionally, and I've spent years improving and grooming myself on all of these levels, including spiritually. So by the time I sit here and share with you ladies what I know works for me, it's not something I've done once or twice. I've been doing this for years. And there are still hiccups that I go through. And that's why I educate myself. I read books. There are audio books on YouTube. There's just no excuse to stay stuck. There's so much information about so many different things. If you want to become a better person, you want to feel better about yourself, work on your self-esteem, work on your love for yourself, work on your self-concept. How are you seeing yourself? That is allowing you to take certain situations and involve yourself in them. How do you see yourself? Because there's always 100 million things happening around us. We just choose to participate in certain things, mostly because those are the things that we identify with easier than other things. So if you're identifying with drama, if you're identifying with people don't respect me, if you're identifying with I have to control people, what are you missing? What's going on inside you here that's producing that kind of awareness? Because there's something here that's filtering everything to reflect that thing. Build your self-esteem. Number 3, shadow work. That's what I'm talking about right now. Figure out, sometimes you get triggered by something, but the trigger is not the problem. It's the thing that's getting triggered that needs to be addressed. So, for example, maybe you meet somebody who is really beautiful and you just feel just that, pain of just jealousy and, oh my gosh, she's so perfect. She's got this, she looks like this, she talks like this, she smells like that. And, oh my gosh, everything is just so perfect. And you start feeling small and jealous. Instead of fighting with that person that makes or triggered you, because they're not making you do anything, that triggered those emotions, instead of going to try and make her less beautiful or make her seem less than what she is, instead of doing all of that, go inside and say, why do I feel jealous? Why do I feel insecure around somebody like this? What is it? And most of the time, it's just like, I really admire A, B, and C about her, but I don't think I can hold that type of energy or that type of look or whatever. So I'm going to react negatively towards it because I don't see how I can attain it. Usually it's just that. And then you just switch that belief like, oh, but I can do anything I want. In fact, if that is something that I am really curious about experiencing, then let me get to work. Let me level myself up to a point where I can have that experience. Figure out why you get triggered. Where are your triggers rooted in? Sometimes it's in childhood wounds. Sometimes you are so possessive over your partner because you are still dealing with the trauma of being left as a child, and you're projecting that onto someone else. Sometimes somebody triggers you because they remind you of somebody that hurt you before. Go into those uncomfortable spaces. Like I said, if you can go to therapy and be in that kind of safe space, because when certain things come up, you need to be able to manage them, right? So, but go into your childhood wounds, go into your shadows, go in there, because you're not going to be able to create a perfect world where nobody hurts you. You can't. Somebody will hurt you, whether it's on purpose or not. Are you going to allow that person's um, actions or choices? Are you going to allow them to change how you see yourself? If I have the power to change how you see yourself and I don't even know you, that's a big problem. I know how I feel about myself. Sometimes I'm in a good mood, I know how I feel about myself. Sometimes I'm in a bad mood, I know how I feel about myself. Sometimes I'm uncomfortable, I know how I feel about myself. Sometimes I'm in my element, I know how I feel about myself. I love myself. I have my own back. I will do anything for myself. Anything. I give myself the kind of life that I love. I create the kind of life that I love. And that includes a stable place for my mind to live in. I provide myself with that stability. I'm not waiting for somebody to give me that mental space to be stable. I'm not waiting for somebody to give me that emotional stability. I'm not. I'm giving that gift to myself because I have decided I am worth my emotional stability. I am worth my own happiness. I am worth all of the effort that it's going to take to produce more feel good experiences and emotions and hormones, quite frankly, inside my body. I deserve that level of attention from myself. And whatever I get from other people is a bonus. And funny enough, that's when people flood you with all the goodness because you're actually giving it to yourself. There's also a beautiful concept that I started learning last year called self-parenting, and it goes hand in hand with self-soothing as well. And I really love this because sometimes your emotions are just the little girl that just needs that level of soothing that she may not have received in childhood. So there are very many techniques. I'm not an expert enough to teach, but for me, one of the most effective things that really changed my whole spiraling and desperation was becoming that source of comfort for myself. So when certain situations and circumstances, showed up, and I felt myself spiraling and I felt myself getting emotionally desperate for whatever it is. Say, for example, um, I had an interaction with somebody, and, um, maybe we went, okay, say in a dating scenario, maybe I'm dating somebody, and then at some point there's just, some rockiness or a disagreement, or, something that implies it's not smooth sailing, right? I would immediately go into spiraling, thinking, oh my gosh, did I say something wrong? Did I do something wrong? Is this person not going to want to speak to me now? Are they no longer interested? What's going on? Did I do something wrong? Or what can I do now to, change the situation around? Should I call them? Should I reach out? What should I do? You know what I mean? Like, just getting into that whole hamster wheel of just right? Then when I figured out that that was actually coming from a place where, okay, I'm scared to be left because I've experienced a trauma in the past, in my childhood, of being left. So I'm always trying to avoid it, and I'm always on the lookout for signs of being left so that I'm not surprised by it again, right? So when I saw that, then I had to say, okay, cool. Now, for that little girl that was left, that is still panicking about it today, if I were her parent, how would I reassure her that she's not getting left? This is how I would do it. Baby girl, you will never be alone. I will always be here with you. You don't have to be scared. You don't have to panic. You don't have to do anything other than just be. You know why? Because I will always be here. Whether you're at your best, whether you're at your worst, whether we're on good terms, whether we're not, whether life is amazing, whether life is horrible, whether we're in perfect health, whether we're not doing so well, whether we're financially abundant, whether we're in a bit of a lack mindset, whether things are exactly as we want them to be, or if things are an absolute shambles. Guess guess who will always be there? Me. I will always be there for you. And I will always love you. So you don't have to worry about being left. You will never be left. I will always be here for you. Doing that, soothing yourself, and when you are in those situations, when you are not in those situations, finding ways to comfort yourself, soothe yourself, make yourself feel loved, feel good, feel held by you. That really helps with a lot of the healing. And that, which is where you really want to be, puts you in a place of emotional stability, because now your emotions are dependent on you exactly the way it's supposed to be. So if you want to feel happy, that's what you do. If you're feeling sad, you comfort yourself. And then lastly, ladies, to heal your wounded feminine, level up, level up, glow up, grow up, do better. Raise the bar, raise the standard. If you're not happy with where you are, level up. If you're not happy with the way your life is, if you're an unhappy woman, level up until you are happy. Go do your hair, go do your makeup, upgrade your clothes, upgrade where you hang out, upgrade who you hang out with. Go for some wine tasting, learn how to drink wine, learn what cheese goes with what wine. Upgrade yourself, become sophisticated, become a lady. Learn how to walk in heels, learn how to talk like a lady. Level up to a point where you can go and sit and have high tea with upper class women. And whether you are in the same tax bracket as they are or not, you're able to sit and hold your own and not be out of place. Level up. Level up. What are you going to do? You're going to spiral for the rest of this year again, like you did last year and the past 5 years, just spiraling? You're going to spend all your energy trying to change and control everybody around you, but you are going to stay as messed up as you are, or you're going to level yourself down because you're going to be tired. You're going to be exhausted trying to control the whole world. Can't control yourself though. Make it make sense. Level up. Get to a place where you're not having certain problems. Get to a place where you're not having certain problems. There's certain problems I used to have consistently. And now that I'm leveled up, there's certain problems that I'm just like, gosh, what was I even doing to even attract those? I have not had that situation in a minute. Level up, babes. Level up. Start dating better men. Start making better choices. Start talking and associating yourself with better ladies. Start spending your time doing more meaningful things. Level up. All right, so that is our shadow work. That is our wound. That is our healing. And there's nothing to be ashamed of, ladies. The only thing to be ashamed of is you refusing to take responsibility for your own actions, but you being wounded, you needing to heal, nothing to be ashamed of. Absolutely nothing. In fact, if you are able to see that and sense that at the very least, you're halfway there. You're halfway there. You're better than most, because most ladies aren't even in a position to take that responsibility. Okay, it's a big one. It's a big one. It's not for little girls. It's for grown women. These are rites of passage, and it's difficult for a reason, because it's this is where the woman and the little girls get separated, and the women are watching the little girls who refuse to get initiated into womanhood. Like come on, get up on this level. Come on. You don't have to live like that. You don't. You don't have to live like that. You don't. But yeah, we all have our choices to make. So, ladies, I'm going to end that over here. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you, beautiful princesses, in the next one. All right, bye.